All right, welcome to a new season of Wiki. What? On this episode, we've got our three contestants. Introduce yourself.
Jack Ramage.
Tommy Toma.
Joey Scott.
And our rules, as usual, is that I'm going to give them three facts. Two of these are real facts that we learned on Wikipedia. The other one we completely made up. Their goal is to pick the one that is made up. So, your first set of facts. Cheetahs, known for their incredibly fast speed, also have one of the loudest roars, beaten only by lions and some elephants. You can hear the sound sometimes from over 3 miles away. Fact 2, mantis shrimp, known for their fast attack speed, are able to move at speeds so fast they can crack the shells of snails and crabs, reaching speeds of 49 miles per hour with an acceleration of 335,000 feet per second squared. Or fact 3, moose are actually really good swimmers, able to hit speeds of 6 miles per hour, which may not sound like much, but the average high school swimmer can only hit 3 to 4 miles per hour. Do you all have your answers? Flip them over, let's see what we got. And you two are correct, it is the cheetah one. That is the one that is made up.
Come on.
Cheetah sound. Cheetahs actually apparently make a sound that is really not much louder than a cat's meow. So, like, they're pretty quiet actually. The other two completely real.
So you're telling me there's a shrimp that can break open something?
Yeah. And you are also only at best half as fast of a swimmer as a moose.
I'm less concerned about that.
I think you should be more concerned about that since you're apparently like a swimmer. So
That's true.
you can't even take a moose. Next ones. Finland, which is known for having one of the best education systems in the world, actually doesn't start schooling children until they are 7 years old, and they graduate primary school by 17, meaning that the average number of years in school is approximately about 3 years less than in the American school system. The second fact, due to the number of floods in Bangladesh, many areas of the country have boat schools that are complete with internet access, libraries, and solar power. They boast, the boats also function like a bus stopping at many riverside stops to pick up children before docking and beginning class. Or your third fact, also about education. In the Japanese school system, many students are given potential paths they might follow based on their talents as early as 8 years old, and their grading system from there continues on a 4-point scale where 4 means they are expected to succeed on the career path, and 1 means they are literally being removed from the path, which is seen as a sign of great dishonor for the student. What is it? Finland, Bangladesh, or Japan? You all picked the Bangladesh one. That is real. The one that is false is the Japanese one. So our next fact, set 3. The very first female governor of a state was Merriam-Webster, who was elected to 2 non-consecutive terms as the governor of Texas. After she left office in 1935, no other woman was elected as governor of a state until Kathleen Sebelius was elected governor of Kansas in 2003. Our second fact, also about government. In the early years after the Civil War, there were numerous African Americans elected to the House of Reps, starting in 1870, but after approximately 30 years of limited success for African American candidates, there was a gap from 1901 until 1929, where not a single member of Congress was an African American. Or our third one, Secretary of State is one of the more powerful positions in American government, so you might think it'd be a good resume builder for potential presidential candidates. Before the Civil War, 6 different secretaries eventually became president, but since then, no other Secretary of State has successfully achieved the presidency. The most recent Secretary of State to attempt to win the presidency being Secretary Clinton, who lost to President Trump in 2016. Which of those is made up? 1, 2, or 3. Woman governor. You are all picking women governors, and that is correct. There actually was not that big of a gap. Merriam-Webster also wasn't the first. She was the second female governor, but there was not nearly that big of a gap. There were lots of governors in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Well, not lots in the 60s or 70s, but lots in the 80s and 90s. Most people probably know of the group of actors and entertainers called the Whaaat Pack, and maybe many know of the 1980s group of young actors called the Brat Pack. But there's also a group called the Frat Pack, which consists of a number of male actors who have worked together a considerable number of times. The group includes Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Will Ferrell, Owen Wilson, Steve Carell, Luke Wilson, and Vince Vaughn. Our second fact from entertainment is that inspired after Old Yeller became a popular movie in 1957, the Academy Awards briefly started a category for Best Animal Performance that ran from 1959 to 1962 before they scrapped the category. Or the last one, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek television series, actually was a pilot before he was a screenwriter and only turned to writing and gave up his career as a pilot after surviving not one, not two, but 3 separate plane crashes. What are we going with? We got, this is interesting. We got 3, 1, and 2, so obviously one of you is right, and the person who is right is you.
Put 2.
Number 2,
I was 2 and I
the
erased
best animal category I don't think has ever been a category, but the other 2 are absolutely true. Our last one, the category is history. This is the last one. Before Vladimir Putin took his first term as president of Russia came Boris Yeltsin, the first president after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Yeltsin started off wildly popular in the 1980s and early 90s, but eventually resigned in 1999, and his approval rating at the time has been estimated to be 2%. 2% approval rating. Our second one. From 79 to 89, the Soviet Union had an occupation of Afghanistan, sometimes referred to as the Soviet Union's Vietnam War. Despite how much more technologically advanced and well-equipped the Soviet Union was, they were unable to overcome the local forces who were backed by a coalition that would be odd by today's standards, including the United States, United Kingdom, Pakistan, China, and Iran. And the last one is that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were destroyed when King Nebuchadnezzar, who had them built, died and left in his last will and testament that he wanted the gardens razed and burned to the ground, a feat which his son saw to it that it happened. What are we going with? Oh, we got different answers. You got a chance. But they're right and you're wrong. It is, in fact, the Hanging Gardens one. That's not how they were destroyed. The other 2 are absolutely true. Definitely a weird group when you think that U.S. is like not friendly at all with most of with China and Iran now. All right, so our winner is Mr. Jack Ramage. Congratulations.
Yup.
And thank you for watching this episode of Wiki Whaaat. Watch us again next time.